Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Boze from Jan Steinle. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So this one is neat in that it's kind of a grid. I guess what we would call it more of a reticula, I suppose. So starting off with, let's see if I can do this into thirds. So just some, it's like you start the grid, right? And, normally we would, do like that. We're not gonna. Just like this. Then, let's see if I can do this a little bit bigger than in my step out. Actually, maybe I should start in the center with, we're just going to put boxes. So you want to spread boxes out. Let's see if I'm going to do 3. And so we're going to put boxes, kind of have them even in the grids. Probably helpful to have them similar size. But as I found out, it can be forgiving as well. I always like to let you know that because I know some that stress over grid things. I kind of stress over ones like this that aren't, that are kind of floating like these boxes are. All right, so once you have that set, then, and this is another, so there's a couple of, I'm not sure how to describe it, except for like floating. That just sounds right. So we're going to make some diagonal lines coming from the corners of these boxes. And as I had to do, just try not to worry about it. just make them go diagonal and don't think too much. And so in here, at least for the first one, I'll try to make it diagonal. And this is where if you have these, somewhat in rows and somewhat the same size, that's helpful. And okay. And we're going to go the other way as well. Now, when I going the other way, I was a little bit more careful on this route. So, for instance, and I'm just starting in the middle because I like to. So I'm going to go from this corner to the intersection. And then now from the intersection to that corner. Because as you can see, if I drew a straight line, I would have missed. I would have missed something. I would have missed the intersection or this corner. So that's like the safety. That's a good word. And because there's not really anything to go on doing the first diagonal, except just to make it diagonal, there's you just have to not worry about it. And see, and I paused here and then kept going. And then these ones, that are on the edge, as I like to say, just make it up. Just make it look good. Look symmetrical-ish. Or like having the same angle, I guess you could think of it. Okay. Oops, one more. All right. I'm thinking bigger, a little bigger is better. It's usually the case, And sometimes I just like to go small. I think in my step out, I did 4 squares and they were all rather small. It still worked out fine. Okay, now the next step in Jan's step out, she just drew the figure and I started off doing that and then I was like, I felt like I needed help. So on my step out, I put a little arrow in the center column. And there, I essentially did a step out. And here's what I did. So from looking at Jan's um, work, I'm going to go from these corners and a little bit different angle. So like that, and you know, there's no wrong. There's no wrong. So don't worry about it. So just coming in a little bit and have it touch the line that it comes to. Then I'm bringing it in with a straight line on both sides, keeping it separate a little bit. And of course, you can you can play with this. You can do this how actually here's what would also be neat. You could put even a little V here or something, so it would look even more like a bow. And then just bringing from that end up, and let's aim for the center of the little box that you created, like that. And I found it's like, okay, I'm glad I did that because I was just, I don't know, my brain just doesn't work with, oh, look at that, oh, that's neat, oh, and I'll just draw that. And then we will continue. And I was finding it just really easy to do it this way, like I said. So hope that helps you. It helps me, and that's what matters. Just kidding. All right, one column left. Well, and like I said too, I mean, have as much fun with this part, any of it, as you want. All right, and one, and then like because this is gone off the page, I'm doing it a little bit different. And then up here, let's see, I'm gonna guess. Oops, that line would probably come about there. And I look at like this section and just, okay, how would that look if it was continuing. I like it to be, I like it to look like as if I punched uh, this out of this pattern out of something else. It's a fun game. That's what I think. Okay, and that is basically it, except for decorating. Now you can have. There's a lot of fun that you could have with this. For instance, and I'm just going to use black and white. And why not just, we'll start in the middle here. And what's funny is, I was looking at this and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I did not see this part until I scrolled down just a little bit further past the step out to see the sample. And I'm like, oh, there's the bow. I was thinking this and this and this was the bow. And I was like, okay, I don't get it, was what was going through my head. So sometimes it pays to look at the samples. And that's also why I like to make sure to share the originator of the Tangle, their work from their hand, so you can see how they did it, because you might get a better idea on how you do this. This is just my take on how to do it. I think my graphic one is dying. No. Well, it might not be. Well, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And then I'm going to fill in these. And this is what Jan did on the sample. And then filled in every other one. But now you can see it now. And I was like, oh, like I said, oh, neat. So you could put tangles in there. You could put, orbs, straight lines, whatever you want, or just do shading instead of filling in. I'm going to continue to fill in and tell you the end stuff. Oh, and I did have another thought here that I just remembered as I was thinking about this tangle on the white ones. And actually, with a white pen, you could do this the same. I was thinking you could do little lines like that. Yes. So on the white ones, I'm going to do that. And even if you put a pattern in on them, you could still do this at the, at the end or something. Because if you had, well, I'm going to fill that one in anyway. Be careful of which ones I'm doing, but it doesn't matter. Right? That helps. And then, since I have it handy, and why not? Yep, you could. You could. All right. So, like I said, it was just so funny because I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, it's interesting. So when I find a tangle, I will look at it, and if it doesn't immediately jump out at me, I'm like, well, I'll just put that on the shelf, and I want to take a closer look at it later, and just see if something else jumps out, and that's my scientific method. And yeah, and like I said, scrolling down, I'm like, oh, duh. The other thing that Jan did was, in the background, I guess of all of that, all of the what would you call that part, the little streamers part. She did straight lines going one direction in all of the backgrounds, and it kind of ties it together. So, like I said, you can have as much fun as you want playing with the decorating part. It's a clever tangle, very clever, and I like that. So, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, would love to have you click on like. Feel free to share it and leave comments. And if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. Yes, in the description section, I have links to the step outs. I always do my own version and then link to the originator of the tangle. Below that, you will find links to connect with me. Basically, there's a link to my website, and then also to our amazing if you happen to be on Facebook community. And I will warn you, I have a couple questions. I always get somebody that they answer 1 out of 2, and that just automatically declines. So there's two questions to answer, and I hope you answer. I have four things on there. I guess statements, agreements, and I do that just to set and do my best to maintain a tone for the group. So, and that's the best way to do it that I found. So, I teach classes. So on my website, you will find in the menu, you will find a link for that. Also, right now, and gosh, we're just past halfway through December. We're doing Festivus Tangles, so focusing on festive tangles for December. You'll find a link to all of them. If you subscribe to the blog, then you will receive the post every night when I put out the next prompt. I don't. Well, actually, this is the second time that I've done this. We did after Inktober. We did Inkvember because we thought, well, let's just go with it. And I don't do a list ahead of time. It's really just my daily tangle, but themed. So you will get a prompt usually the evening before sometime, and that way then the next day, or and that's if you want to do something every day. You don't have to. I know some people that get stressed out about that, and you certainly don't have to. It is up to you. It's just a daily prompt. So you can have fun with that. And I think that's all that I have for you. So I'm almost finished filling these in with my soon to be put in the trash, I think, graphic one. These are great for filling in until they start to die. And even then, they're okay. I was using this on something else, though, and I think it might have gotten a little junked up. So I keep wiping it with, well, you know, if you do this, if you use your pens on other surfaces, this is a great idea that I have found, the best idea. And you see all the little dots. So I just take my pen and I kind of swirl it in the paper towel. So it's just paper towel folded up. And then I can, flip it when I've used up a side. But that seems to work really, really well. And then I know for sure, it's like, okay, is it going or not? All right. So that's a little extra tip. And with that, again, voila. Hope you enjoyed it. What a cute tangle. And I don't know. I'm now enamored with it. It's really, really cute. So with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.